107.5 WBLS, your number one source for R&B.
Antonio Fargas is with us tonight.
Thank you.
How you feel, brother?
I'm feeling great. You know, it's been a long day, but, to end it up here with you guys and WBLS, well, I couldn't ask for more.
Well, brother, I appreciate it.
Monday night.
But you're accustomed to long days because when you were doing the film, the TV back in the day, I don't know if it's any different. I haven't stepped into that world, but they told me it was long days.
I had long days and long nights.
That sounds like a different story, brother. That's a different story.
I was young and ready to go. But now I really have to economize. We talked about, I take my vitamins, I eat right, I do these kind of things because I don't know, to be able to say I've been doing something for 55 years. I've seen people come and go, people die, and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. But for me to be here tonight, it's all been preordained and pre-written before we was born.
Oh, no question, brother.
We couldn't miss this night.
And I'm honored to know that this was a part of my schedule too, to sit down with you. This means a great deal with me. Let's go back into the 70s for just a moment. 70s, black exploitation films came out, platform shoes came out, gabardine, a lot of stuff. Afros were out, were in, Afro picks were in. When they came to you with this role to play Huggy Bear in Starsky and Hutch, and I know you trained. You train in your profession to obviously get in and get on. Was that any kind of disrespect for you, or did you embrace it?
No, I was always a character actor. I always did the dirty work. In fact, what got me to Starsky and Hutch was that I did a movie called Across 110th Street with a soundtrack by Bobby Womack, sure. and I worked with Yaphet Kotto, Anthony Quinn, and some brothers who we still brothers today. And the cat who directed that, his name was Barry Shear.
Wow. And
Barry Shear gave me and Dick Ward, who played DeSalvo, the gangster, with the gravelly voice, he gave us, when I got to L.A., I heard Barry Shear was directing a pilot called Starsky and Hutch, and he recommended to Spelling and Goldberg about this cat, because if you know Cross 110th Street, the role I played was Henry J., this fast-talking guy, and he said, this is the guy I wanted, and he also cast Dick Ward in the pilot, and if you saw the pilot, Dick Ward played it, but I think he was too strong for the networks at the time, and they replaced him with Bernie Hamilton.
Wow.
But that's how I got Starsky and Hutch.
Wow, that's amazing. And look, he is, your character, man, is so impactful. Your character was so impactful then, it's coming to now.
If I knew how impactful it was, I would have asked for more money.
I know that's right, bro.
And it just so happens that this year is the 40th year since we did the pilot for Starsky and Hutch.
Unbelievable.
And I was 28 years old when I did that, and here we are still talking about it. There's got to be something else involved.
Man, you've been doing so much, man. But you've added a couple of titles that a lot of people may not be aware of to your resume. Singer, but we'll come back to that, but ambassador.
Yeah.
Tell everyone what you're the ambassador of these days.
I did a convention where David Soul and Paul Michael Glazer came, and they, did something celebrating, the many years we had together, and the fan clubs wanted us to, look at the last show, which was like very emotional, the Starsky and Hutch episode, and I was interviewed by a new cable station called Cozy TV, and through that conversation, they decided, and also because I had a musical element that had just been introduced into my career and into my life, and they thought that I would make a spokesman or an ambassador for Cozy TV, which presents 70s to best of 70s television, and they included, of course, Starsky and Hutch.
Had to.
And so Huggy Bear, Antonio Fargas, is the ambassador for Cozy TV. And and along with my band, we did some promos and videos, and so music is starting to take a whole new part. And I've always been looking for an expression, my voice in music, because I'm not a lyrical singer. In fact, the only show I was ever fired from was, or one of the shows I was fired from, but this one was because I did a play called Hair when I came back from Europe. I was 18 years old. and they were casting the Broadway production, and I went down and I mesmerized James Rado and the writer directors of Hair, and I got the job. And then when we started rehearsal, they found out that I couldn't sing, and I could go a note. And they said, "What is that mess you have in my ear?"
Wait, were you there when Melba was there? Melba Moore was there.
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I was only briefly.
That's
So
it.
a guy, I forget his name, who took over the role, and sadly, he got burned up in a fire. I don't know if you remember that kind of thing, but yeah. So music now is taking on a whole new meaning, and with Cozy TV and my band called the New Jump Blues, there's this great opportunity for us to come together, celebrate 70s television.
That's good.
And being the ambassador,
Well,
is cool.
Ambassador Antonio, they couldn't have picked a better cat to be the ambassador. And you know what? Music is taking on a different turn for him as well. And we'll tell you in just a little while of how that is taking on a different turn. You have given us the best of your work, from stage to movie, and now you're doing more things. You're doing singing now. That's a wonderful thing.
Seems like I'm just getting started.
I know that's right,
After
brother.
55 years, to feel like you have something to give and that people want more, that's, I'm in a really good place.
Really are. And how's the family? How's life?
Life is good. I mean, I'm a grandfather. I'm a better father. I'm a better grandfather. I'm a better husband. I'm a better friend.
I know that's right.
I mean, yeah.
You stay connected to your circle of friends since you got into this business? Because sometimes so many people get disconnected when they get busy in general, and I know how the industry of entertainment can be.
I understand why people are reluctant to leave a sport if they've been doing it a while. I understand why people are reluctant to give up or to let go, because it's about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the locker room. It's about backstage. It's about the studio. It's about what goes on between people, not when the cameras roll,
right,
but when the cameras are not rolling. And I have a host of friends in my life today, friends that have been around for a long time, and then instant ones who know me because of, even before I even meet them, they know me because I've given my heart, I've given my soul in terms of the characters and the work that I've done. And it seems like, it's about buttoning relationships now. When I meet someone on the street who says, "I know you," or like someone calls on the radio and says, what I've done for them. Yeah. I always take it to a story. When I was doing a play in London, and this, I had to go to the theater, and they said, "You don't have to pay me for the cab ride because of what you did for me growing up watching Starsky." Those are the spiritual deposits I make in my spiritual bank every day, which makes it all worthwhile. And to be just coming from Canada, working on a movie called Beyond Skyline, working for my stepson who was a producer of the movie, and then have a son that I've been proud of from day one. Both of those young men, who played in the NFL for 7 years, and and gave his heart and his soul, and I said, you know what? They used to call him Huggy Jr. on the field.
Yeah, man.
And whatnot. And I said, you know what? What separates you is that you have a father who's given you a legacy, and you're going to take that name and run further with it than I did. You make your own mark. So
you put so much joy in people's lives, man, in people's hearts, man.
It's amazing, the reaction you get. I mean, and when I get that on a plane, I can get that in Greece, I can get it in Africa. I mean, it's just the power of television and the media. I said I could do a play on Broadway for 10 years and not reach as many people as one night on a syndication of a show like Starsky Hutch and some of the other shows and TV shows and films that I've been in.
Well, brother, you have been blessed, and you have been a blessing to millions of people, including me. And I thank you so much for your body of work and for all that you've done, for all that you stand for, and for who you are. So I wish you continued success.
Thank you, my brother.
I know God will continue to walk with you and just open up many, many more doors. But make sure you come back and sit down with us.
Absolutely. Anytime I'm in New York,
come on, man, please.
I'm going to stop on in.
I'm going to hold you to that, brother.
You got it.
Antonio Fargas, a.k.a. Huggy Bear, baby.